The first time I felt the silk against my skin, I told myself it was an accident. That's what I whispered to my reflection at 2 in the morning, standing barefoot in the dim glow of my bedroom lamp, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The blouse, ivory, soft as breath, hung loosely over my shoulders. My hands trembled as I traced the delicate buttons down the front. It wasn't even mine. It belonged to my roommate's sister, forgotten in a laundry basket after a weekend visit. I should have folded it and walked away. Instead, I slipped it on. And when I looked in the mirror, something inside me shifted. I didn't see a joke. I didn't see a costume. I saw a question. The fabric skimmed my torso in a way that made me hyper-aware of my own body. My broad shoulders. The way the silk softened their outline. My short hair, messy from sleep, framing a face that suddenly felt different. I swallowed. "What are you doing?" I whispered to myself. But the question didn't carry shame. It carried wonder. I lifted my hands, watching how the sleeves draped past my wrists. I turned slightly, studying the way the blouse moved with me. It wasn't just clothing. It was sensation. It was permission. It was a secret I hadn't known I was keeping from myself. Then I saw it, the smallest smile tugging at my lips. And that terrified me. Because this wasn't curiosity anymore. This was recognition. The next morning at work, I couldn't focus. Spreadsheets blurred together. The hum of fluorescent lights drilled into my skull. Every time I shifted in my chair, I remembered the way the silk had felt sliding over my skin. My body reacted to the memory like it was electricity. "Hey, you good?" Mark leaned over the cubicle wall, coffee in hand. "You look like you didn't sleep." I forced a laugh. "Yeah, just weird dreams." Weird didn't even begin to cover it. All day, I felt like I was hiding something enormous, even though nothing visible had changed. I wore my usual button-down shirt and slacks. My voice was steady in meetings. I nodded at the right moments. But inside, there was a tremor, like a door had been cracked open and a gust of wind was threatening to blow it off its hinges. At lunch, I caught my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. For a split second, I imagined eyeliner tracing my eyes. My hair longer. My posture softer. The image startled me so much I locked the screen immediately. "Stop it," I muttered under my breath. But the thought lingered. That night, the apartment was quiet again. My roommate was out with friends. The laundry basket sat where I'd left it, folded neatly now. The blouse was gone. I stood there for a long time. Then I did something I'd never done before. I opened my laptop and searched for men wearing women's clothes. My heart hammered as if I were committing a crime. But what I found wasn't mockery. It wasn't scandal. It was stories. Forums filled with people describing the same electric curiosity. The same fear. The same secret thrill of silk, lace, cotton brushing against skin that had been told it wasn't meant for it. One post hit me like a punch to the chest. "I don't want to be someone else," the writer said. "I just feel more like myself." I leaned back slowly. More like myself. Was that what last night had been? The following weekend, I did something reckless. I went shopping. I told myself it was just to look. Just to prove I could stand in that section of the store without combusting from embarrassment. My palms were slick with sweat as I walked past racks of dresses and skirts, pretending to scroll through my phone. No one was watching me. No one cared. Still, I felt exposed, like a spotlight hovered above my head. Finally, I reached out and touched a skirt, midnight blue, light and flowing. The fabric slipped through my fingers like water. My breath caught. "You can try it on if you'd like," a sales associate said gently behind me. I nearly jumped out of my skin. She didn't look shocked. She didn't look amused. Just neutral. Professional. Sure, I managed. Inside the fitting room, my hands shook as I changed. When the skirt settled around my waist, something in me stilled. The fabric swayed against my thighs as I turned. I stepped in front of the mirror. There it was again. That recognition. This time, it was stronger. I tilted my head, adjusting the waistband slightly higher. I imagined the blouse from before. Imagined how it would pair with this. I placed my hand on my hip experimentally, and the movement felt natural. Not exaggerated. Not theatrical. Just natural. A laugh bubbled out of me, half nervous, half exhilarated. "This is insane," I whispered. But I didn't take it off immediately. I ended up buying the skirt. The cashier didn't blink. I carried the bag home like it contained something radioactive. That night, alone in my room, I tried it on again. This time, I took my time. I stood straighter. I softened my gaze in the mirror. I practiced shifting my weight differently, letting the fabric move with me. I didn't look ridiculous. I looked curious, hopeful, alive. Weeks passed, and my secret grew. A blouse. Then another. A pair of flats. A small makeup kit I hid in the back of my drawer. Every purchase felt like crossing a line I'd drawn for myself years ago. The first time I applied lipstick, my hands were clumsy. The color bled slightly past my lip line. I wiped it off and tried again. And again. Until the reflection staring back at me had a soft rose tint to its mouth. I leaned closer to the mirror. "Who are you?" I whispered. The answer didn't come in words. It came in a feeling, warm, steady, undeniable. I started choosing weekends to experiment further. I would wait until the apartment was empty, then dress fully. Skirt. Blouse. Light foundation. Mascara. The transformation wasn't about perfection. It was about exploration. Each detail felt like a discovery. The way earrings tugged gently at my earlobes. The subtle scent of perfume lingering on my wrists. The way I found myself sitting differently, crossing my legs without thinking. One Saturday, I took a breath and did something braver. I stepped outside. Just to the corner store, I told myself. Just 5 minutes. My heart pounded so loudly I was certain passers-by could hear it. I kept my gaze forward, expecting laughter, whispers, someone shouting. Nothing happened. A woman brushed past me without a second glance. A man held the door open and said, "After you." My knees nearly buckled. Inside the store, I picked up a bottle of water, my fingers trembling slightly. I caught my reflection in the glass refrigerator doors. I looked okay. Not perfect. Not invisible. But okay. When I stepped back into the sunlight, something inside me expanded. Like my lungs had finally filled completely. The more I ventured out, the easier it became. A coffee shop one weekend. A walk in the park the next. Small steps, each one layering confidence over fear. Then came the night everything nearly fell apart. It was a Friday. I'd planned to meet co-workers at a bar. I hadn't dressed up that day, just my usual clothes, but inside, I felt split in two. The secret version of me wanted air. Wanted space. At the bar, Mark clapped me on the back. "You're quiet tonight." "Just thinking," I said. "About what?" I hesitated. What would happen if I told him? If I said, "I like wearing skirts. I feel more myself that way." The image of his reaction flashed in my mind. Confusion, maybe laughter. Maybe worse. "I'm thinking about change," I said carefully. He raised an eyebrow. "You quitting or something?" "Maybe," I said, though that wasn't it at all. Later that night, after a few drinks, someone started joking about a viral video of a man in a dress. "Man, imagine showing up to work like that." One of them laughed. The table erupted. I felt heat crawl up my neck. "Yeah," Mark added, chuckling. "Some people just want attention." Something inside me snapped. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. I set my glass down. What if it's not about attention? I asked quietly. They looked at me. "What do you mean?" Someone said. "What if it's just who they are?" There was an awkward pause. Mark shrugged. "I mean, sure. I guess. Still weird, though." Weird. The word stung more than I expected. I went home early that night. I stood in my bedroom, staring at the hidden drawer where my other life lived. I could keep it secret forever. Safe. Untouched by judgment. Or I could let it breathe. The next Monday, I made my choice. I woke up early, showered, shaved carefully. My movements were deliberate, almost ceremonial. I chose the midnight blue skirt, a soft grey blouse, light makeup, subtle, but undeniable. My hands trembled as I grabbed my bag. Just be honest, I whispered to myself. The walk to work felt longer than ever. Every step echoed with doubt. What if they laugh? What if they fire you? What if you lose everything? But beneath the fear was something stronger. What if you finally feel whole? When I pushed open the office door, conversation hushed for a split second. Then resumed. I walked to my desk, sat down, logged in. My heart pounded. Mark appeared a few minutes later. He froze mid-step. "Hey," he said slowly. "Hey," I replied, meeting his eyes. There was confusion there. Surprise. But not cruelty. "You, look different." "I am," I said simply. Silence stretched between us. Then he nodded. "Okay." Just, okay. Others stared. Some avoided looking at me altogether. A few whispered. But no one shouted. No one threw me out. By lunchtime, a woman from accounting stopped by my desk. "I just wanted to say," she said softly, "you look really confident today." My throat tightened. "Thank you." That single sentence carried me through the rest of the day. It wasn't easy after that. There were awkward conversations, questions, a couple of people who kept their distance. But there were also unexpected allies. The woman from accounting started inviting me to lunch. She complimented my choice of colors, gave me tips on blending foundation. Even Mark, over time, adjusted. One afternoon he leaned against my cubicle wall again, just like before. "So," he said, scratching the back of his neck, "you seem happier." I smiled. "I am." And that was the truth. I wasn't pretending to be someone else. I wasn't chasing shock value. I was peeling back layers I'd been taught to bury. Silk had been the beginning. A whisper against my skin that asked, what if? Now, months later, my wardrobe no longer feels like contraband. It feels like choice. Some days I dress one way. Some days another. The difference is, I don't hide either side anymore. I still remember that first night. The trembling hands. The disbelief in the mirror. If I could step back into that room and speak to that version of me, I'd say this. You're not broken. You're not a joke. You're discovering yourself. And discovery is never something to be ashamed of. The truth is, the silk was never just fabric. It was courage. It was honesty. It was the first thread in a tapestry of self-acceptance I'm still weaving. If you're watching this and you're holding your own secret, whatever it may be, know that fear and excitement can exist in the same heartbeat. That confusion can be the doorway to clarity. That the reflection in the mirror might surprise you. And that's okay.